Bonjour and welcome to Movie Squad. We're so glad that you could join us and be our guest as we talk about Emma Watson and her singing voice and the latest batch of Beauty and the Beast clips. My name is Phill Kovach and I will be leading the discussion. Joined with me is a whole host of singing flatware. In front of me via Skype, we have Mr. Andrew Gifford. Andrew, how are you tonight?
Hello, Phil. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to talking about Beauty and the Beast.
And also on Skype, we have Mr. Joey the Angelus. Joey, how are you?
Well, I'm a singing soup spoon, so not terribly great.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And also joining us is the lovely, the talented Miss Allison Cola. Allison, how are you tonight?
Bonjour, everybody. I'm ready to talk about some Beauty and the Beast. Let's get started.
So, like we mentioned before, the topic on the table for tonight's discussion is Emma Watson's singing voice. Do we like it? Are we about it? How do we feel about all the autotune? So, first off, I want to get you guys' opinions about how we feel about Emma Watson's voice in the few clips we've heard her in. Andrew, let's hear from you first.
Well, I mean, Emma Watson can sing. I like how distinct her voice sounds compared to Paige O'Hara's. In some, like, marketing material, like trailers and TV spots, sometimes they'll, like, heavily manipulate footage and audio, and I think maybe that might be part of the problem. Yeah. I don't think that her voice will be heavily auto-tuned in the movie itself. We'll just be engrossed in the movie when we're seeing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, she can still sing. Like, she sounds really good. It's just a lot's processing.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And I think right now we're still in kind of an early stages because they still have a couple months before the film is released. So I think it's just more, oh, people want to hear her sing. Here, take that.
Exactly. Who knows how her voice sounds on its own? Maybe the auto-tune is there to actually, improve it because they felt like it wasn't good enough.
Allison, you come from kind of a voiceover and vocalist background. What's your take on all of the auto-tuning and whatnot going on with Emma Watson's voice?
I'm kind of mixed too, where when I first heard the clips, I was too busy having an excited heart attack to really measure it.
Right.
But when I listened to it again and again and again, I started to notice the hints of auto-tune, and it did kind of bring me back down, like, oh, they're really doing this. Like Gifford said, it's kind of usual for them to do that in promotional bits. It's hopefully going to be toned down a little bit. And then I step back and I think that I don't think I've ever heard Emma Watson sing in another piece of entertainment before ever. So she might not be a natural singer. She could be doing all she can, and this is supposed to be giving her a boost. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's also a very good point. We don't know what Emma Watson's natural voice sounding like. A lot of comments and whatnot that I've seen online have been that Emma Watson may not have had that strong of a voice. Like, she might have a good natural voice, it just may not be very strong, and so they kind of processed it to boost it.
Well, in the clips that I heard, I remember with the first clip, it was of something there. Disney didn't officially release it at first. It was a leaked bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It was like from a doll or something. I don't know. But that could probably, alter your perception of it, because it's like, oh, you hear like this, what does this sound like, and it sounds different, obviously, because it's not a legal recording of Emma Watson. And then I listened to it, and it sounds fine to me. It sounds lovely, but it's nothing. It's not Paige O'Hara, but right. I'll get into that later. But again, I figured that as much.
Yeah.
They weren't casting this like the old Beauty and the Beast, where they were casting, Broadway people, right. Essentially. With this, they got Emma Watson, and it sounds good for what it is. And the second clip is where I have more issues, but I don't know if it's necessarily just auto-tune at play, but I'll get into that later. But overall, in terms of the singing stuff, I'm not disappointed from what I've heard. I generally like it. It sounds pleasant. And I think that's the important thing when it comes to a big budget, Disney musical like
right.
this, that it sounds.
Can I just say, I like the softer touch that Emma Watson kind of gives her Belle with her voice.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. It's a contrast to what Paige O'Hara did, which obviously it's an animated movie, so it's a little different, but.
Right. Yeah, and like she definitely does have like a warm, kind of soothing voice, but to me, like I come from an audio engineering background, like that's what I studied at school. Like I studied audio engineering, And so, like, right off the bat, I heard the auto-tune, but even for me, like, I really wasn't super bothered by it at first until at the end of the most recent clip where she's going into Bonjour, where she tries the vibrato, but then the auto-tune won't let the poor girl vibrato. Like, it just kind of stays on the same note, and it sounds really, really weird. But yeah, overall, I think it's not bad, because the thing you learn whenever you take, like, music industry classes is that even the best singers get auto-tuned these days, because producers and everyone, they want their performers to have a perfect performance, but at the same time, they sacrifice kind of the nuance behind everything. So I think it's kind of... I think it's just really kind of par for the course. Like, she doesn't sound like a robot, but she also doesn't sound 100% human either.
That's a good point.
And Joey actually brought up a good point when he talked about Broadway casting and how with some of the older Disney movies, they would have basically two different people cast for one character. Like, I remember for Mulan, they had Ming-Na Wen doing all the talking parts, but then they had Lee Sangala, I think, do all the singing stuff for when Mulan had to sing.
That was also the case with Aladdin, if I'm not mistaken.
They had Brad Kane doing the speaking voice, and no, Brad Kane did the singing voice. Excuse me.
Scott Weininger was the.
Thank you. I got a little bit mixed up.
And that's why you two run Disney World.
No, but like when you think about it too, we bring up Emma Watson, and you think about the old Beauty and the Beast, and it's a great movie. But other than Angela Lansbury, most people can't name who was in that movie. But whereas this is a star-studded motion picture with Emma Watson. So if you had, say, again, Allison, we were talking about this before the video with Emma Watson. If in the old Hollywood days, they would have somebody else dub over for the singing stuff, and as they do for some of the other Disney movies.
Oh yeah.
However, if you had somebody else sing for Emma Watson, that wouldn't look good on a headline.
No, it really wouldn't.
It looks better.
Emma Watson's the selling point.
Emma Watson, exactly. So if you have look, hear Emma Watson sing. Yeah. Even if it's auto-tuned, it's like, hey, that's pretty nifty.
You know what I'm curious about? So if they're auto-tuning Emma Watson, okay, for the Be Our Guest sequence, it'll be interesting if they auto-tune Ewan McGregor.
Oh dear. Well, we've already kind of heard Ewan McGregor sing before in Moulin Rouge. I'm horrified in a good way of how that is going to go down, because Ewan McGregor, I love you dearly. You have the most horrid French accent I've ever heard, and I can't wait to hear it.
Oh God!
I have a feeling that it will be slightly changed, but I have faith in Disney that they're still going to make it sound good.
Allison, you don't like Ewan McGregor's French accent, but now imagine it auto-tuned.
Well, I want to ask you guys a question since we're kind of on the topic. Do you think that maybe Disney should have cast someone who maybe has more of a natural singing voice, but maybe not as much star power?
I think Emma Watson's the perfect choice to play Belle. With the singing, I feel like I actually don't mind the auto-tune as long as Emma Watson gives a good performance, and the auto-tune does kind of boost her singing voice. Like, she can sing, it's just if the auto-tune is... It might be like a necessary evil, to make her singing voice better and at the same time kind of help enhance her performance.
I can't really see anyone else doing this performance. I mean, I've gone through the list of actresses in my head, and Emma Watson has always been someone that I've fantasy cast as Belle in a live-action Beauty and the Beast remake. When it comes to her singing, I mean, I can tell she's trying. If she was really not trying and Disney was using auto-tune to make up for that, I would be much more mad. But I can hear that she's trying to act and sing, and she's trying to portray Belle, especially when she's going, I want adventure in the great wine somewhere. It sounds like she's actually, there. She's not just going through the motions. She's really trying to be Belle.
Yeah.
if she were not doing that and the Autotune was there, I would be more upset. And I'd be like, cast.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that she has like a lot of like good vocal embellishments. Like she kind of like makes it her own, because she does all kind of embellishments I'm not even gonna try to do because I'm a guy and I can't sing like that. You can tell that she's like trying, and like I imagine that she has like a good voice, but I also imagine that they just wanted to kind of boost it a bit and warm it up.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the idea of like if we could cast somebody who's a better singer or keep Emma Watson. I mean, again, in a perfect world, I would just go with the perfect singer and somebody who could, who can sing, because that's going to be the one of the main selling points is the singing, because it's a musical. But at the same time, you need the Emma Watson factor, because you do have people with these Disney live-action remakes saying, is this really necessary? But then you have the inclusion of somebody like Emma Watson. Yeah. They go, oh, good, Hermione's in this. This has to be good. Because how many movies, other than the Harry Potter movies, aside from Perks from Being a Wallflower and Noah, how many movies has Emma Watson really been in the time between Harry Potter and now? Not a lot. And, she's still a very, huge social media presence when you think about it. Maybe not quite.
Joey, I did like her in Noah.
Yeah, I mean, she's a major, she doesn't do a whole lot in the last couple of years, hasn't done a whole lot in the last couple of years, but people love her, and I think it's really cool that they're able to get her. And again, it's not like if she sounded terrible, then yeah, it would be really unfortunate, but from what I'm hearing so far, it sounds fine. I think I want the.
Can I just say one more thing once you're done, Joey?
Yeah.
A thought just came to my mind right now. Emma Watson had to have passed her audition without Autotune, so that kind of gives me a little bit.
Oh, that is 100% true.
Like with Emma Watson's voice, I guess my takeaway now is I appreciate the little nuances in her performance, and if the Autotune helps boost her singing voice, then I mean, it's all good with me. Like I'm fine with that, because you got the best of both worlds.
I agree. Like, and Allison, that's a very, very good point. Like something I think a lot of people didn't consider is that she had to have passed her audition without the use of Autotune, and so with that in mind, like, yeah, I'm really not concerned at all. Which kind of brings me to our last question I want to ask, which actually is kind of combined two questions. Do we care that her voice was auto-tuned, and do you think this will affect your enjoyment of the movie or musical performances? Joey, let's start with you.
Okay, so this brings me to the one thing I really wanted to bring up. The thing that bothered me, is particularly in the second TV spot, in like the TV spot at the end of the Golden Globes, was when she was singing. I'm like, it sounded great to start, and then it goes, I wanted more, and it quickly went through that. Now, I don't know if it's really, that was entirely auto-tune. Speaking as somebody who uses Adobe a lot and has played around with like the speed, that sounds like they just tried to speed that up just for a TV spot, and if that's the case, that was a really bad edit on their part.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna make the final like recording of the album. I think that was just a sloppy TV ad mistake. But I mean, with auto-tune, again, everything we've heard, at least from what my ears can hear, it sounds fine. It sounds good. And again, if you really don't like this recording, there's still the original cast recording and the Broadway recording. If you don't like Emma Watson's voice, but even then, a lot of modern things are auto-tuned. And would you rather, have Emma Watson do her own singing with some auto-tune, or would you rather have an actual singer dub over Emma Watson? And that would be kind of weird, I think, for audiences.
Yeah, I agree. Allison, what are your thoughts?
I can sum up my thoughts. Anything but Ariana Grande. I'll take auto-tune Emma Watson over Ariana Grande any day. I mean, I heard that news today. That's like the one thing I know I'm absolutely not going to be thrilled about with the movie. But Emma Watson herself, I thought she was great. I was having too much fun to really care, and I have a feeling that's going to be me in the movie up until the credits and the pop song starts. Until then, I'm going to be a happy camper. I can already tell.
Well, in the movie itself, sitting in the theater, I think I'm just going to be having too good of a time with the movie. And one of the benefits about knowing that maybe her voice is auto-tuned is we'll go in expecting it. So when it does happen, it's not going to catch me by surprise. It'll just, I'll have accepted it by that point. There's a lot, though, too, that goes into musicals. I mean, the visuals, the performances, like, aside from the singing. So I feel like there'll be enough for me to really appreciate anyway that, I can enjoy. So I don't think I'm going to be nitpicking her singing voice, especially when her voice is fine as is. Like, even if it is auto-tuned, it's like, whatever. I mean,
yeah.
I'm here for the movie itself, really. Like, I love Beauty and the Beast. I love the story. So
yep,
that's not going to ruin my enjoyment of it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, Beauty and the Beast was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. So I think, like, in the context of the movie, just being engrossed in it, I don't think I'm really going to care until I, like, start nitpicking afterwards because, I'm a nerd and nerds always nitpick. But, yeah, no, I think I'm just going to be, like, so engrossed in the movie. I'm really not going to care unless it's, like, absolutely horrendous, which I really doubt it'll be. And, Andrew, like you said, the thing with us knowing it's auto-tuned now is that it'll probably lower our expectations and then set us up to maybe be surprised for an awesome performance.
Yep, well said.
All right, I think that's going to do it for us here in the Movie Squad, but we want to know what you think down below. Do you like Emma Watson's singing voice? Are you okay with the amount of auto-tune they use? Do you care that they used auto-tune? Let us know in the comments down below, and while you're there, make sure you like the video or favorite it, whatever YouTube is using now, and subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. So, all right, Andrew, where can the audience find you online?
Well, my Instagram account is the _ GIF95, and then you can just find me on Facebook under Andrew Gifford.
All right, Allison, where can they find you?
If you're looking for my Instagram, mine is AJ the Angry Owl. And if you want to find me on Facebook, find me on the Disney Worlds page where I'm sharing all of the wonderful worlds of Disney.
All right, and Joey, where can they find you at?
Well, since I am an enchanted spoon and it's difficult to type things, you can still...
What?
This is not funny. I am an enchanted spoon. Anyway, you can find me at Chops1993 on Instagram, where if I had hands, I'd be posting about VHS tapes, toys, and stuff. And you can check out my YouTube channel, Silent Film Saturday, as well as its corresponding Facebook page and Twitter account.
All right, and I'm Phill Kovach. You can find me on Twitter at PhilKoMusic. That's PhillKo Music, or you can find my Facebook page, Phill Kovach Music, and I also occasionally post on DC Extended Universe on Facebook. And so long, people.